Good evening, I'm Prasad. It appears PAS leaders woke up this morning and thought, why not make headlines? And they have. The PAS-led Kelantan government revealed today that no suicides were recorded in the state since the pandemic began. That's not all. They also said since homeless people live in unhygienic conditions, they've developed resistance to COVID-19. And the cherry on top of the cake, PAS President Hadi Awang defended the Taliban, saying they've changed. The mentally ill who are homeless are not infected with COVID-19 as they have developed stronger immunity from living in filthy conditions, according to Kelantan Local Government Housing and Health Committee Chairperson Dr. Izzani Hussein. The bizarre exchange you're about to see took place in the Kelantan State Legislative Assembly today after UMNO's Kok Lantas Assemblyperson Muhammad Alwi Che Ahmad asked how homeless people with mental problems were not infected with COVID-19.
Jadi oleh kerana dia temu sama dengan baret tu, kita makan tepi ada cerah perut. Dia tak cerah perut. Sebab dia duk makan sama sikit-sikit sehingga body dia tu menghasilkan antibody terhadap semua. Kita boleh jadi resisten kepada 3 perkara, dia 50 perkara resisten belaka dah. Sebab dia duk semua kena sama. Tangan cemar, kaki cemar, makan cemar, apa semua. Akhirnya Allah Taala beri kita ni, tubuh kita ni create antibody untuk melawan kita. Saya jawab dia ni.
Katanya komen takut ke dia lah. Betul lebih kurang.
Terima kasih.
This discussion was part of the question and answer session at the 4th session of the 14th Kelantan State Assembly in Kota Darul Naim, Kota Baru today. Earlier, the Assembly was told that no suicide cases were recorded in Kelantan during the COVID-19 pandemic. Izzani said the mental health of the people in Kelantan is in good condition. Now that that's over, let's hear what the PAS president had to say about the Taliban. But before that, if you like what we do on this channel, we want you to be an ally so we can continue keeping those in power accountable to you, the voters. Support the channel by clicking on the link below.
PAS President Abdul Hadi Awang has defended the Taliban in an editorial published in the party's mouthpiece, Harakah Daily. Hadi said that while it is true that the Taliban had imposed strict rules on the population, including barring girls and women from getting an education in the past, the group has now changed for the better. He added that contrary to reports on the ground, the Taliban is wiser even though they are still steadfast in their struggle to uphold Islam. He said the Western media and the local media who act as their apparatus are amplifying negative aspects of the Taliban when they first emerged. But the latest developments show they are wiser in taking on their foes and have held negotiations with US diplomats. He pointed out how they had also succeeded in taking over Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan, peacefully. Hadi also dismissed scenes of the chaos of people trying to flee Kabul when the Taliban took over, saying that they were made up of groups who were afraid because they had served the old regime under the shadows of the United States. He added that they wanted to flee and were anxious, even though the Taliban had already issued a mass pardon. Previously, his son, Muhammad Khalil Abdul Hadi, had congratulated the newly established Taliban-led government of Afghanistan for successfully achieving victory and independence of their homeland.
Harapan leaders sat down with Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob today in a meeting Anwar described as a good start, and it appears they are willing to give Ismail a chance.
Leaders from Pakatan Harapan met Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob at his office this afternoon for a meeting that lasted more than an hour. Speaking to reporters in Putrajaya after the meeting, PKR President Anwar Ibrahim said Harapan would not complicate an upcoming vote of confidence for Ismail Sabri if the Prime Minister acts in the interests of the people. He said Harapan told Ismail if the situation is such, if the programs are pro-rakyat, they will not complicate a vote of confidence. Also at the meeting today were Amanah President Muhammad Sabu and DAP Secretary General Lim Guan Eng. Anwar did not reveal what was discussed in detail, but said among the matters discussed were pro-rakyat programs that focus on the poor and jobs. He also said the meeting was a good start and that another committee stage meeting will be attended by representatives. Previously, Ismail Sabri has ruled out the possibility of a unity government. However, the Prime Minister has invited the opposition to join the National Recovery Council and a COVID-19 Special Committee.
Ahmad Zahid Hamidi injured himself after a fall on Saturday. This meant he couldn't attend a couple of corruption trials. UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's corruption trial in connection with the foreign visa system has been postponed to September 1st. This comes after the defence filed an application at the High Court in Shah Alam to vacate today's hearing. Zahid's counsel Ahmad Zaidi Zainal produced to the court a letter from a hospital stating his client's condition and injuries. Earlier, Zaidi told the court that his client had been admitted to a private hospital after he fell in his home last Saturday. Judge Muhammad Zaid Mustafa, however, ruled that the hearing dates set on September 1st and 2nd will remain. But this too will depend on Zaid's condition, as the court can't anticipate for now how long he will take to recover. Zaid also did not attend the hearing of his corruption trial involving Yayasan Akal Budi funds, and the court was informed that the UMNO president had been hospitalized due to a back injury. Subsequently, High Court Judge Colin Lawrence Soquera ruled that a subpoena would be issued to Dr. Muhammad Shahrir Anwar from Avicenna Specialist Hospital in Shah Alam to explain the procedure to be carried out on Ahmad Zaid and the duration needed for the accused to fully recover. Zaid is facing 33 charges of receiving bribes amounting to 42 million from Ultra Kirana Sendirian Berhad as an inducement for himself in his capacity as a civil servant and then Home Minister to extend the contract of the company as the operator of the one-stop center in China and the VLN system, as well as to maintain the agreement to supply VLN integrated system parts to the same company by the Home Ministry. For another 7 charges, Zaid was charged as Home Minister for accepting millions in cash from the same company which he knew had a connection with his function as then Home Minister.
Good Morning G-Sure is the first plant-based and complete nutrition drink made in Malaysia. It is suitable for those who are lactose intolerant. Research made by local universities found that more than 90% of our Malaysian population are lactose intolerant. Lactose intolerance can cause bloated stomach and diarrhea. Good Morning G-Sure helps to improve the immune system, reduce the risk of illnesses, and helps to improve general well-being and strengthen our bodies. A happy family starts with a healthy family. I'm still active, healthy, and going strong at the age of 52. It has to be Good Morning G-Sure.
Tengku Razaleigh wants the PM to call for a confidence vote, but Dr. Mahathir disagrees. Let's hear why.
Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob should not call for a confidence vote in Parliament, said former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Mahathir said this was as most people do not want to have another change in government, and it will negatively affect the country's image if Ismail failed to secure majority support in the Dewan Rakyat. He said if Ismail goes to Parliament and does not get a majority, we would have to change again, and the world is laughing at us. Yesterday, Gua Musang MP, Tengku Razaleigh Hamzah, had urged for a confidence vote on Ismail to be held in Parliament as soon as possible. This was to ascertain his legitimacy so that he can govern without interference. On August 18, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong had decreed that the new Prime Minister must seek a vote of confidence as soon as possible. In a statement, Comptroller of the Royal Household, Ahmad Fadil Shamsuddin, said this was necessary to determine the legitimacy of the new Premier. Meanwhile, Mahathir also commented on Ismail's offer for the opposition to join the National Recovery Council as well as the COVID-19 Special Task Force. The Pejuang chairperson said he would wait to see who would be chosen before he decides if he will join them or not.
Azmin Ali did not threaten to withdraw support for Ismail Sabri if he did not secure the Deputy Prime Minister's post, according to someone close to the former PKR leader.
An aide to Gombak MP Azmin Ali has denied claims that Azmin threatened to withdraw support for Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob if he was not appointed as Deputy Prime Minister. He said this in response to reports yesterday which had quoted sources on the claims. Azmin's political secretary, Muhammad Hilman Itham, said the reports by Malaysia Kini and Free Malaysia Today were absolutely false, malicious and irresponsible, and was done to threaten the growing stability and unity with Perikatan Nasional in support of Ismail Sabri's leadership as Prime Minister. He added that it was regrettable that the media outlets did not verify the truth of their sources to ensure accurate and responsible reporting. According to Malaysia Kini, they did in fact contact several Bersatu politicians aligned with Azmin, including Hilman, before the report was published. Malaysia Kini had also quoted Ampang MP Zuraida Kamaruddin as denying that any threats were made. In the report yesterday, Bersatu and UMNO had said that Azmin was set to become the country's next Deputy Prime Minister. Two of the sources, who are in opposite UMNO factions, told Malaysia Kini that this was done in order to avoid defections. Both sources claimed that Azmin had threatened to withdraw support from the fragile Ismail Sabri Yaakob government if he was not given the post. Ismail Sabri, who was sworn in as Prime Minister on Saturday, has the support of 114 lawmakers. Azmin commands the loyalty of at least 10 MPs, enough to trigger Ismail Sabri's downfall should they withdraw support. Azmin was one of the 3 Bersatu leaders said to be in the running to be Ismail Sabri's deputy. The other 2 are Bersatu Secretary General Hamzah Zainuddin and Supreme Council member Redzwan Muhammad Yusof.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to malaysiakini.com. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching.